What's up, guys? We're here at the Forsaken Forge, and we got Grom inside. Looks like he's about to build a sword. Let's jump in and see how it's going.
I pretty much try to go in every direction, once across, once over, and then once diagonal.
Do you want to cover both diagonals or just the one diagonal?
Just one's fine, because by the time that we get everything else secured on here, it's not going to go anywhere.
And I missed this part, so what was that you just did?
So this right here is actually an archaic method called penny capping, in which you put a penny on the top to keep your core from busting through your foam caps and stabbing somebody in the face. So this way you have a flat surface, and as it's pushing on the foam, it's less likely to tear through it.
It's widening the surface area on the end.
Correct, absolutely. So once you've got it across,
the force out more.
Once you've got it across, over, and then diagonal, what you want to do is a method when building swords called torque wrapping, and you're going to use this process for a couple of different steps. And so what you want to do is you just want to be able to pull the tape and tight around it. If it's not popping, it's not doing anything. And you can feel how tight that is around there. There's not a lot of bulge to it whatsoever. Okay? And then that will be the same thing that we're going to do the second step. But let's go ahead and go through the next step for this one.
That's a graphite golf club, correct?
Yes, this is a graphite golf club. You can get them from Goodwill. They're about $2. They range from sizes all the way from 20 inches all the way up to like 48 inches. Now obviously it's going to be shorter once you cut the head off of it. You typically want to use some sort of small teeth blades, such as like PVC blade, metal blade, things of that nature, to cut through these things. There's a few different methods. Yeah, that will also work. Just make sure that when you're done, it's not splintering and that you don't crack the shaft down, which is why you don't want to use wood blades, because you will destroy the shaft cutting through it. Now, second step, sticky back craft foam. You can get this stuff at Walmart, it's relatively cheap. And all it is just foam. You see it in like kindergarten classes and stuff of that nature.
With an adhesive back?
Yes, absolutely. The adhesive back I like to use because I don't have to add any extra tape to actually put it down. So what you want to do is you just want to take a piece and cut you out sections. Take them, and we're going to use this to build up the center of our cores, so that way once we put the foam over top of it, there's no rattle, there's no wiggle, and you don't have any play in the blade itself. And so you just want to put it right under the penny to start with, and you see I've just built it up to pretty much the same width as that penny. You know what I mean? Within relative reason. And so what you're going to do now is you're going to take the other pieces, and we're just going to kind of stagger them down the blade.
All the way down to that?
Yes.
Okay, so not one right behind you.
Yeah, not one right behind
you. You got to take a lot of cuts.
Not only would it take a lot of foam, but it adds weight. Nothing that we particularly use individually has a lot of weight, but added up, it does get heavy.
Can you practice throwing shots with it? Yeah. Alright, now there's two more things that I'm saying. Two major investments that I'm afraid to believe. And it can be expensive depending on what you go after.
And so, you've got your sword set. Alright, next thing that you're going to need to do is determine the length of your blade. Your blade will be determined by the size of your sword. It must be at least 2/3 the length of your entire weapon. So if you have a 30-inch sword, you have to have 20 inches of blade.
Is this the part where you determine how long your handle will be?
Yes, correct. But you only have so much play in that. All right,
is it easier to have a smaller handle than to have a larger one?
Everybody has a different fighting method. I prefer a longer handle. That way, when you have it on the low grip, that's your long attack versus being able to drop down and being able to hug up into somebody and wrap around. You know what I mean? So you have the different, you know, your different options. A lot of people will just use a smaller handle, but it's all in preference.
You also gotta make sure it fits your hands.
Right.
What's that supposed to say?
Your hilt, it's called that 30 inches, and that'll be your blade. And so that'll leave us your entire actual rubber golf grip. We'll leave it alone for the most part, so that way we don't have to put much over top of it.
Now, these aren't just pool noodles.
Correct. These are not pool noodles. What this is pipe insulation. The key factor is that it has a 1-inch wall, and it must have this 1-inch wall or it is not legal to our game. We prefer to use the 1/2-inch pipe fitting. That's the interior hole is a 1/2 inch, and you'll see when we actually go to put this in that it matches up pretty, you know, pretty even with the way that we build our setups.
Where can someone get this kind of?
This material right here can be purchased from Lowe's offline. It is what they call Frost King. If you're up north, it will be readily available in most of your stores themselves. Just go pick it up. If you're from the south, this stuff is meant for a very low temperature that it does not reach here, so they don't carry it in stock. You have to order it. Correct. I, however, went to Home Depot and spoke with our sales rep there, and he actually orders it for me, so I don't have to pay shipping at all. So he orders it in the store, I come pick it up. Home Depot across the board will do that for you. They also price match. So get out there, do some shopping, find the cheapest one, take it up there, show it to one of your sales rep at the pro desk, and they will get you set up. Absolutely.
That's good to know.
Okay, so what we're going to want to do, we decided on a 30-inch blade, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to come out, and we're going to come right there into that 30 mark. And we're just going to cut it down.
Now, I noticed that this is not attached.
Correct.
Do you slide the blade in, or do you open it and place it?
We are going to open it up.
Need me help?
I want a copy of this.
Yep.
We're going to open it up, and what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to slide it in there. If you try to push it through,
Will it move the adhesive?
yes, you'll notice that your foam will pull back. Are you talking about this right here? No, it's not going to mess with that too much. But try your best not to peel that plastic off.
Okay.
The adhesive that's on these insulation pipes, it's a very quick reaction. So whenever you stick them together, it's pretty much bonded right then and there. You're not going to get a second chance to pull it off and redo it. All right.
You are very welcome. By the way, your name? I'm Aurora. No, Rome. Blue Black Horn.
Okay.
RH.
All right. So you see down inside of there where you actually have that gap right here. All right, there is no rule as to how deep that actually needs to be. The rule just simply says that you cannot feel the tip of your core through the padding on the top. A lot of people will achieve that by pulling their core all the way flat with it and then just stacking enough padding on top to where you can't feel it. I, on the other hand, like to leave about a 1/2 inch.
Before we go to a battle, he'll be like, what are you doing?
About a 1/2 inch above that, and then we're going to stuff that with camp pad itself before we put the actual caps on it itself. Okay, so as far as sticking these things together, what you want to do is you just want to grab the bottom here and pull both sides up at the same time. Go ahead and grab them together.
What are you waiting for?
Snatch them up. And now you're just going to come through and press it down.
So, very excitable.
And you can see it's bonded. And like I said, you're not going to be able to pull that apart very easily at all. So, Make sure you get it all nice and pressed in there, nice and even.
Dude, I could go over here.
Little stickers off, stickers
and
hurt.
say, I'm alive. I would just walk up and like put my foot on his foot. He's like, I like how you do it. Contact is not specified. Healer was doing double heels. Usually do this way. If we're in line and you're fighting him, you get legs and I come up behind you. All I gotta do is this. That's that guy. I was going to talk to him about
Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take little square pieces. Why square? Because these edges are gonna kind of push on that foam and keep it from spinning while it's in there, and it's gonna keep this piece from moving. Okay, and so we're just gonna take it and just stuff it down in there. And then we're gonna take one more piece and stuff it down in there. To where it's mostly flat. Don't be worried if it bulges out a little bit. We're gonna put some more stuff on there. We're gonna pat it down. But already you're getting to the point where you almost can't feel that core.
Now, walk up.
No. This padding here, where did you get that and how do you make it?
Blue camp pad is literally blue camp pad. You get it from Walmart. It's $6 a roll. It's really cheap. To actually make these items right here, Lord Ada, one of our members out here, actually showed me a neat method for doing it. I used to just lay the noodle down, trace it, and cut it out. However, if you'll take a soup can, they're about the perfect size for this. Cut the top off, and then you know, sharpen it off a little bit. Use sandpaper or some sort of grinder to sharpen it up, and then you can just use it as a stencil. Put it down the foam, twist it 2 or 3 times, and it just cuts it out perfectly. And that's how I make them now, because you can bust out 100 of them in about 10 minutes versus tracing them and cutting them out. 2 of them can take you 5 minutes. But yeah, this is just blue camp pad. You can find it at almost any Walmart, any kind of camping store, things of that nature. Now, I see a lot of people, they'll also too, besides using the camp pad, will use the gray pad. It's kind of like a floor mat. Usually has a diamond prints on it and everything.
These guys?
Yes, like those. This type of matting, this type of padding. The reason a lot of people use this because it is more durable. It really is more durable. It's going to last a lot longer, the whole 9 yards. It's just a touch heavier, but not enough to really make a big difference. Still really good foam. It's a little bit more expensive, which is why I don't use it, especially not with swords. Swords you're going to typically blow out on the sides before you'll blow them out on a tip. Now, when you build a pole, I highly recommend this stuff. You know what I mean? But with a regular sword, if you don't do a lot of stabbing, blue camp pad will work just fine.
Where do you buy those guys?
Those? I made those.
I mean, like, the material.
Oh, Lowe's, Home Depot, any kind of hardware store.
Harbor Freight.
Yeah, Harbor Freight. Yep.
Maybe that'd be important to know.
Okay, so I like to take 2 layers and we're gonna bond it onto the top here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a layer and we're gonna cap it pretty much just like we did for the penny.
I stuck it right in your way, didn't I?
Do me a favor, bud. Push that down. Just push it down. And then again, you're going to go once across, once over, and then diagonal both ways.
And it looks like you're pulling that pretty tight.
Yes, I'm pulling this tight, and the reason I'm doing that is so it will round these edges off there. And the reason that you have to go all 4 directions, because you see as I'm pulling it down to round off those edges, I'm creating little corners. And so we're going to use the tape to beat those corners down.
My lady, you say like this?
Okay, And so now you end up with a majoritively round tip. All right. Next step. This is very optional. It's a process that a lot of builders will call laminating the blade. And what you'll do is you will take your duct tape, or I'm sorry, not your duct tape, your packing tape.
Fell back there.
So let me back up there for just a second.
Wait, no.
Scissors. Anybody see the scissors?
There.
Oh, there. Okay, to get your blade really tight down, a lot of people will just kind of torque this down. What I like to do is to taper the ends just a bit, and just take some scissors and come around the edge here. And this is just going to make it easier for you to laminate your blade and to torque wrap your blade to the core itself to make sure there is no wiggle and it doesn't fling off on you at any point.
You can see it right here.
You're probably going to want to get right here. Alright, so for lamination, what you want to do is you want to start off and lay a piece down just about hand deep. You want to pull it up and lay it down. And the reason you want to pull it up first before you lay it down is so that way you get this nice, clear.
Now, what does this do for the blade?
So this is going to make your blade a little bit more durable to the elements.
Water and such?
Water and things of that nature. It also too keeps your blade from ever slinging off the tip. Because of the way we're doing it, we're gonna bind it down here at the bottom when we're done. So instead of just having tape holding it here, you have tape that wraps all the way around it and then your body.
Scotch tape?
It is Scotch tape. However, if you can see, I use the storage Scotch tape. The reason for this is supposed to be heat resistant to a degree, things of that nature. So it should stand up longer, especially if you ever leave your swords in your car, which you should not do. That is a bad move. Do not leave your swords in the car. They will melt. But if you do it by accident, you know, this tape stands a better chance of not going out on you as quickly as your standard packing tape. Also too, if you're on a budget, you can't afford to go out and buy a bunch of tape, go to the post office, tell them you need to mail something, and they will just give you a roll of their packing tape. It's cheap, it has their logo on it, but no one cares. Once you put a cover on it, you won't be able to see it anyways.
Oh, okay. I thought you were running from me.
Pull.
Take a wall. Aim.
Okay. So you get your sword completely covered in tape now, and it's just essentially laminated. Now for the last piece is to torque wrap the blade to itself. So you just want to put it on there, and that first go around you want to pull it tight, but you don't have to pull it super tight. Once you get all the way around it and the tape is laying on itself, now you want to start wrenching it in. Don't do that. Don't break the tape.
Too much torque.
Too much torque.
So much torque.
There's no such thing as too much torque.
Not enough doctor.
Again, you want to hear that tape popping.
Tape. Arguably man's greatest invention.
And boom. You'll notice that your sword tapers nice down to your handle. This allows you for you to be able to put your thumb up on your blade and be able to use it to torque it around. Now also you have a nice long blade, so you have the ability to throw the long shot or to choke up and still be able to wrap it around somebody.
Okay.
Basic sword.
Did you want to show the pommel?
Yes, we're gonna do the whole 9.
Okay.
Yeah, that glue is not forgiven. It said stick me once.
After we cut the 2 inches.
Okay. Now after we cut the 2 inches, we're gonna kind of do a bootleg version of the tip of the sword. And by that, what I mean is we're gonna take this and you're just gonna shove it around there.
But not all the way to the tip.
Yeah, not all the way. Most of the way, okay? Because you don't want to add too much extra length, okay? And the pommel is really just more of a precaution than it is a necessary.
But swords have to have them, correct?
Yes, they absolutely have to have them. But how often do you,
They don't have to be strike legal.
No, they don't have to be strike legal, but you cannot feel the core through the tip of it. Is really the only real rule.
How much
Can I have one of those, honey?
And cut you a piece off, and cut that off.
Trying to get out of the way of the fan.
So you kind of get it started and then you know where you need to cut.
Yeah.
Would it ever be wise to cover throwies with that? Or is that a waste?
You can. The problem when you go to covering throwies with sewn covers, unless you're a really good seamster or seamstress and are able to sew it in the right form that you need for it to fit in there, there's usually a lot of sag to it and it messes it up in the flat pattern when you throw it. Just, you know what I mean? There are issues that come with it. Okay, so once you get it tight, and you notice I'm actually stretching this thing down a little bit. Okay. Don't, not too tight, but just enough. And then we're just gonna go ahead and throw one good band around. Not as much. No, not really. Because the coverage, even if it comes off, put it back on. You know what I mean? It's not like it's gonna hurt anybody if it comes off. And then trim the rest of that off. And then duct tape, and then grip tape. You want blue or black?
Black.
What are you doing, crazy?
Knew it was going black, eh?
I kind of figured.
Black's a beautiful color. And it goes with everything.
Especially red.
Took out her heart. I'm like, no. And then I had, I just had all these things.
Sorry. He's
And
trying to
I
set this
pulled
up.
just like, get away from me. And they're like, or another time, the guys, Dragonborn, that.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Great.
That's yours. Hold them.
Put him in the stroller.
Put them in your seat.
Are they all gone?
Got into a fight with
She did. Yeah, come on, we have one of those. Can I have the smaller one?
Do you athletic tape over the pommel? Where'd you go?
No.
No, so you just leave the pommel tape like this?
Yeah, I would come up on the pommel a little bit, but you don't have to go like over the blue parts of it.
Somebody has a freaking flail.
They get by by no, I can't. I don't know what to do because they made something. I stick up the eyeball. You want this eyeball? I've been chewing on
That's
the
the
eyeball.
fourth time today that I mistaked that dude for him. Like it's out of place, like I think. Oh, who's that? Oh, it's not who I thought it was.
The guy's like, what? No. I'm like, no, take it. Take it off. He grabbed it, he threw it. I'm like,
Is that how it is?
no, you kidding me?
I don't understand, but I don't have the courage to ask him.
Just go.
I don't want the curiosity.
Yeah.
And then boom, yeah.
Hallelujah.
Completed sword.
Look at that.
Let's see it.
Is leaving the
Very nice.
pommel like that just a typical thing you do, or?
No, I usually actually put covers, like an actual cloth cover over it. I just didn't have time to make all the scrap pieces for all that.
What about just the tape, grip tape in it?
You can grip tape it all the way.
Pick it up, it feels beautiful.
Because like we're going over the top, you know what I mean? You keep having to wrap around to go back over the top.
It is long.
You end up using like that much. Yeah, twice as much.
Give me.
Do like that much space, you know
It
what
will
I'm saying?
dictate a little bit with my style
And
of
then tape it
swordboard.
around. Yeah, you can do that. That's what I usually do.
I'll have to
take a
work on
bandana and just cut like
choking
corners
up for
out
my
of it
wrap shots.
and use
That's
the
gonna
actual
give me
bandana, like,
serious
you know what I
range.
mean? Deal to go on the back of it, like I do for these. You know what I mean? I know these are mine because mine have a flower on it. You're gonna want to pair these. You know what I mean? Like how many other archers are running around with black arrows with flowers on them? You know what I mean? Not many.
Ones are which?
Are more attack oriented because they restrict you.
For arrow type.
Oh, I'm not an archer, I'm an assassin. So like these are all just standard weapons. Yeah, including the Michelangelo and Donatello.
Your mobility and range.
No, not Donatello.
Raphael.
Yeah, Raphael.
Now, Mikey is orange.
Moving around their shields smaller and shields faster, so small swords paired with large shields are very defensive.
Okay.
All right, Etrigan, do you have any other suggestions for anyone building swords?
And their big ass towers.
Besides coming to see you?
Listen to your elders at the park, man. Most of these guys have been building swords for a really long time and they know what they're doing. There's always room to improve methods. Just because somebody shows you a method doesn't mean that's the only way that you can do it. Always play with your methods, but remember the one thing about building swords and any weapons in general is safety first. That comes before anything, period. You know, safety first, okay? But outside of that, go out there, build stuff, build crazy stuff, build stuff people tell you not to build because, you know, they think it's gonna get you killed a lot. If you want a 6-foot scythe to run around on field with, right on, brother. It might not be the greatest weapon in the world, but if you love it, build it.
All right, thanks for showing us how to build a sword today.
Yeah, buddy, I appreciate you guys coming out, man.
Hey, let's make it beautiful.